Hello everyone, welcome to Elite Engineering Academy. This is Ilyas Mohammed, Faculty of Electronics. So last class we have seen the types of semiconductors. What are the different types of semiconductors? What are the different types of semiconductor? Two types, right? Intrinsic semiconductor, extrinsic semiconductor. And what is intrinsic we have seen, what is extrinsic, how extrinsic is again classified, what is p type, what is n type, all these things we have seen, right? In this particular class, so I have taken n type semiconductor. Consider phosphorus. Phosphorus is fifth group element, so phosphorus is called donor atom here. Donor atom donating one electron. So after donating one electron, if you take n type material donating one electron, after donating one electron, phosphorus becomes stable because that is inside the covalent bond and that is stable. After donating one electron, after donating electron, phosphorus becomes ion. Ion is positive ion. This positive ion is immobile ion. Immobile. This electron is mobile charge carrier. Now phosphorus becomes positive ion. This is called immobile ion. Immobile. There is no mobility. Right. So why phosphorus becomes positive ion? That is the question. Why phosphorus becomes positive ion? Right. So we'll see. So if you see phosphorus, the atomic number is 15. We can say it is having 15 number of electrons and 15 number of protons. 15 number of electrons and 15 number of protons. Here phosphorus is donating one electron, means that is losing one electron. Now electron number becomes, after becoming stable, electron number becomes 14. So electrons are having negative charge, protons are having positive charge. Overall now phosphorus contains 15 protons and 14 electrons. Positive concentration is more, positive concentration is more. That's why phosphorus becomes positive ion, that is immobile ion. So each phosphorus atom is donating one free electron, which is mobile charge carrier, and becomes positive ion. Ion means, remember, this is forming covalent bond with adjacent atoms. So all the electrons are in valence band. This ion represents all the electrons are in valence band and donating one free electron. This semiconductor material, n-type semiconductor material, in valence band it is in the form of ion, positive ion, and this is electron which is in conduction band. This is mobile charge carrier and this is immobile charge carrier. So likewise, each phosphorus atom is donating one electron and phosphorus becomes positive ion. Phosphorus becomes positive ion. Phosphorus becomes positive ion. Positive. This is n-type structure. Coming for p-type. So aluminum is having 3 valence electrons because it is third group element. One is vacant space. So it is accepting electron from adjacent atom. So this electron is coming this. After taking electron from adjacent atom, aluminum becomes stable. Now aluminum becomes ion, which is I am calling it as negative ion. Which is immobile again. Why aluminum becomes, after receiving electron, after accepting electron, why aluminum becomes negative ion? That is the question. So we know that aluminum atomic number is 13, right? So it is having 13 electrons and 13 protons. So to become stable, aluminum is accepting electron from adjacent atom. Now aluminum is having 14 electrons. So electron concentration is more compared to proton concentration. Since electron after becoming ion, it is having 14 number of electrons. So negative charge is more. That's why aluminum becomes negative ion, which is immobile. So if we take p-type structure, aluminum is creating one hole, and after becoming stable, it becomes negative ion, creating hole, negative ion, creating hole, negative ion, creating hole, negative ion. Where it is creating hole? Creating hole in adjacent atom, and becomes the structure negative ion. So after accepting electron, it becomes stable and becomes negative ion, and in adjacent atom it is creating one hole, right? So creating hole, negative ion. Similarly, number of holes, negative ion. So overall, this is the structure of p-type. Structure of p-type. So ESET 94 lo, ESET 94, one question has been asked. In p-type material, a p-type semiconductor is the positive charge or negative charge or electrically neutral. What is the answer? So in p-type material, this one holes are having positive charge, electrons are having this ions is negative ion, immobile, negative ion. So positive charge, negative, both are there, right? That's why the answer is p-type semiconductor material is electrically neutral. సో ఏ చార్జ్ ఉంటుందంటే న్యూట్రల్ చార్జ్, ఎందుకంటే హోల్స్ ఉన్నాయి, అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం నెగిటివ్ అయాన్స్ కూడా ఉన్నాయి. సిమిలర్లీ ఎన్ టైప్ సెమీ కండక్టర్లో ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ఉన్నాయి, పాజిటివ్ అయాన్ ఉంది. ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ఆర్ హ్యావింగ్ నెగిటివ్ చార్జ్, this ion is having positive charge. So overall it becomes electrically neutral. There is no charge here. Positive charge is there, negative charge is there. Both get neutral. Okay. So you said 94 lo question adiyadu. In p-type semiconductor, which type of charge is there? So it is not positive charge. It is not negative charge. It is electrically neutral. Next important concept is this is lecture number 4 actually. Lecture number 4. Right. Fermi-Dirac distribution. Fermi-Dirac distribution. So I have taken, suppose you take n-type semiconductor, whatever it may be, n-type or p-type or intrinsic semiconductor, intrinsic pure semiconductor. This level is called EC. This level is called EV. So EC, these are energy levels. These are different energy levels, right? These are different energy levels. EC low. This is one energy level. So in valence band there are electrons. In valence band there are electrons, right? This is this imaginary one level I am taking. I am taking it as Fermi energy level. So the probability that the energy level occupied by an electron, the probability, so ఈ energy level occupy చేయాలి అంటే what is the probability of this particular electron? How much probability is there to occupy this energy state? What is the probability to occupy this energy state? What is the probability to occupy this energy state? Probability of electron to occupy this energy state, and this is given by the Fermi-Dirac distribution f of e 1 by 1 plus e power e minus ef by kt. E power e minus ef by kt. So here f of e, probability of finding an electron in this energy state T. Probability of finding an electron in this energy state T. E is energy level occupied by an electron. Energy level occupied by an electron. EF is Fermi energy level. Fermi energy level, which is imaginary level. Fermi energy level. This is just a reference level. Just reference we are taking. That is imaginary. Actually, that level will not be there. These energy states or assumptions. So it is Fermi energy level. That is reference level I am considering. Right? K is Boltzmann constant. Boltzmann constant. T is temperature in Kelvin. Temperature in Kelvin. So this is the probability of finding an electron in one particular energy and one particular energy level, right? That is given by 1 by 1 plus e power e minus ef by kt. Okay, so ESET 2017 లో క్వశ్చన్ అడిగాడు. ESET 2017. So highest level occupied by an energy level at 0 Kelvin. Highest energy level occupied by an electron. Highest energy level occupied by an electron at 0 Kelvin. At 0 Kelvin దగ్గర highest level, what is that energy level that is occupied by an electron is nothing but Fermi energy level. Answer is Fermi energy level. Okay, highest energy level occupied by an electron at 0 Kelvin. Different answers ichadu. Answer is Fermi energy level. Okay. Now we will see Fermi energy level in intrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductor లో Fermi energy level అనేది ఎలా ఉంటుంది? Fermi energy level in intrinsic semiconductor. Fermi energy level in intrinsic semiconductor. So I have taken band diagram. The highest energy level of valence band is EV. Lowest energy level of conduction band is EC. Right? So valence band consists of electrons. At 0 Kelvin, I am saying we are having equation f of E 1 by 1 plus e power e minus ef by kt. Right? This is a Fermi level distribution, Dirac distribution function. Right? So now I am seeing at 0 Kelvin or low temperatures, at 0 Kelvin or at low temperatures, the temperature is less than room temperature. Right? So you see here the graph. Y-axis I am taking f of E. Here I am taking energy level. So I have taken one. I am comparing this energy level with reference energy level, which is Fermi level. Reference energy level. This is 0. So these levels are E less than EF levels, right? E less than E. Suppose I am considering the Fermi level reference. I am taking somewhere here. Take this one is reference energy level EF. Right? So what are the energy levels I have taken? E. Now these energy levels are E less than EF. These energy levels are E less than EF. And these energy levels are E greater than EF. E greater than EF. Right? So in this graph, this level is E less than EF, and this particular level is E greater than EF. Right? Now at 0 Kelvin, I am taking values f of E greater than EF. E is large compared to EF, then F of E equal to E greater than EF, F of E equal to 1 by 1 plus E power. E is very large compared to EF. I am taking it as E power infinity. Very large. E is very large. E power infinity. So 1 by 1 plus infinity. Infinity. Probability is 0. Right? Next. E equal to EF. F of E equal to 1 by 1 plus E equal to EF 1 by 1 plus E power 0. So E power 0 is 1, 1 by 2. At E equal to EF, the probability is 1 by 2. Energy level less than EF. Energy level less than EF. F of E 1 by 1 plus E is very small compared to EF. E value very small compared to EF. So I am taking a negative value, it becomes E power very large value minus infinity. So 1 by 1 plus 0, this becomes 1. So E is very large, probability is 0. E equal to EF 1 by 2, E less than EF 1. Right? So E greater than EF, E greater than EF. The probability of finding an electron E greater than above EF. At room temperature, no electron at 0 Kelvin, no electron gains energy, it will not move from valence band to conduction band. So we can't find any electron above reference level. That's why probability above EF is 0. Probability above EF is 0. Right. E less than EF. E less than EF in this range. E less than EF. Right? The probability of finding an electron E less than EF, it will come here also, right? E less than EF, this entire range, right? E less than EF, the probability of finding electron is high, right? See, we can see electrons in E less than EF range. So probability of finding electron for E less than EF, that is 1. 1. For E equal to EF, the probability of finding an electron is 1 by 2. The probability at E equal to EF, the probability of finding an electron is exactly half. So from this graph, E greater than EF, probability 0, E equal to EF, probability 1 by 2, E less than EF, probability is 1. Now, if temperature rises, what will happen? T1 temperature. The temperature rises, T rises now. Temperature rises, so above EF, the probability goes on increasing. Temperature rises, electron gains energy. Above EF, we can find electron. Right? At T1 temperature, the graph becomes different values of T1. T1, again I calculate same. The graph will get like this. This is for T1 temperature. T1 temperature. Right? Next, again I increase temperature. I can find more probability increases to find electron above reference level because electron gains energy. This will move from valence band to conduction band. Again T2 is greater than T1. T1 is greater than 0. Now I am at T2 temperature. T2 is greater than T1. There is more probability is increasing because this electron gains energy and moves from valence band to conduction band. Right? So probability goes on increasing for T2 temperature. For different values of T2 I have taken T2, and the same analysis if you do the graph like this. This is graph for T2 temperature. T2 temperature. Right? If you take any energy level E2, this graph 0 level is 0 Kelvin. 0 Kelvin. Right? The probability goes on increasing. The probability goes on increasing. So temperature increases, the probability of finding an electron becomes some value. At T2 the probability goes on increasing. I got this value somewhere. This is at T1 temperature, this is at T2 temperature. So for E greater than EF, if temperature rises, the probability of finding electron in this level goes on increasing. Right. Coming for E less than EF range. E less than EF, what will happen? For E less than EF, at 0 Kelvin, probability is 1. At 0 Kelvin, no electron moves, probability is more here. If temperature rises, the probability goes on reducing in this particular range. Is it correct? In this E less than EF range, if temperature rises, this electron moving, right? Moving from valence band to conduction band. The probability of finding an electron in this range decreases. That is what represented here. At 0 Kelvin 1, T1 somewhat reduces, T2 same energy, T2 again it reducing. This is for intrinsic semiconductor. At 0 Kelvin, what is the graph? You can see this is the graph for T1, for T2. Okay. So temperature rises, the probability of finding electron above reference level is increasing. That is the conclusion. So above reference conduction band we can find electrons. Above EF means in conduction band we can find electrons. Temperature rises, we can less number of electrons we can find in valence band, because electrons are moving from valence band to conduction band. It is difficult to find electrons in valence band. That's why for E less than EF range, probability goes on decreasing. Okay, so next video lo ee video inta stop chestunnanu. So next video we will see in intrinsic semiconductor lo ee EF value ఎంత ఉంటుంది, EF location ఎక్కడ ఉంటుందో చెప్పాలి. Some derivation part is there. So what is the location for Fermi level in intrinsic semiconductor, అది నెక్స్ట్ వీడియోలో చూద్దాం. ఓకే, సో వీడియోని లైక్ చేయండి, మీ ఫ్రెండ్స్కి షేర్ చేయండి, సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేయండి. సో మీ ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ మాకు ఎంతో ఉపయోగపడుతుంది. వీ కెన్ డూ మోర్ అండ్ మోర్ వీడియోస్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.